So today I'll show you how to add two different live chatbots to a website in under 25 minutes without spending any money and without having to write any code. The first is a regular live chat messenger, and the second is a chatbot that asks questions, captures selective data, and even books meetings directly into your calendar. I'll also show you how to make different chatbots appear on different sections of your website. Let's get started. First, let's see some examples of the two live chatbots we'll make. Number one is a regular live chat system. I've set it up to show on a specific URL that people land on when they click on a link in my CV. So it's my website /?CV. It's basically a tracking link. The custom prompt that the live chat displays talks about my CV, because technically those on this page would have clicked through from my CV. So you can imagine if you're running pay-per-click or advertising campaigns, you could use the same logic of having slightly bespoke live chatbots on those pages. So immediately after the visitor writes anything, the chatbot automatically asks them for their email address. It also sends a notification to my HubSpot mobile app, email address, and web cloud CRM. I could start engaging the visitor back instantly from any of those sources. Let's view that one more time. So it talks about my CV because they're on that tracking link. It asks them for their email, and then I respond from my mobile app. Example number two, a bit fancier and more sophisticated. I'll make this exact chatbot appear on the blog post for this tutorial so you can view it and test it out. The prompt is a bit different to the previous example. Then it gives the user some options. I've prevented free typing. The user selects quote as one of the options. Then it asks a bit more about the value option they've selected. Then the user types some stuff. And once they finish typing, it's going to ask them for their email address. And it checks to see if there's an at and a dot. So in this case there wasn't. So I asked them for a correct email address. Then it's going to ask them for their name. And then it's automatically created a support ticket, notified the visitor, and it's asked them if they want to add anything else to this ticket. Then it gets a bit cool. It asks them if they want to schedule a call or a meeting. Then it gives them a time. It's live synced with my calendar. I'll show you how to set this up. And then it's asking them if they want to sign up to the mailing list. And then it subscribed them, and now I've replied from my mobile app. Because I'm using the free tier of HubSpot Chat, I can't set if-then rules on the chatbot. Otherwise, we could make it smarter, as it would give a different message based on whatever the visitor presses or types. As you've seen, I'm using HubSpot for the live chatbots. This is because it's free and there is a mobile app that lets you talk back to the website chat respondents. There are dozens of live chat alternatives out there. If you want to go all guns blazing and remove usage caps in the feature set, you'll probably need to spend upwards of £20 to £30 per month per agent. Alright, let's do this. Step 1. Sign up to HubSpot. It's free. Usual stuff, full name, email address. Then you gotta verify your email address. It'll be instant. Then make a password. And once you've done your password, confirm your company domain and your company name. it kind of tries to pick up your domain from the email address. I'm trying to get it to register a subdomain, which I made for demo site, but it wasn't having it. So I just changed that later. Then you fill in your team size, what industry you work in, what your job function is, all that stuff. Just like 4 or 5 questions. And then you can just choose any demo example. I just clicked for marketers. Yeah, it's going to try to get you to do some live demo. Just quit the live demos. Then you've got to do some settings mods. So there's a gear icon in the top right. Press that. And then we're going to just do some basic info, set your country. And then you can change the homepage appearance, get rid of all those dashboards, unless you like the dashboards. Then notifications, basically just enable everything. At this stage, the main purpose is so then you receive emails and mobile push notifications when somebody fills in a chat on your website, or if they fill in a bot request. So yeah, you can expand all and then just enable everything. And then later, I've never really got junk mail from them, so I haven't had to untick anything. And do the same for mobile app. Then we may as well set up the calendars now while we're here instead of doing it later. So you go to sales meetings. I've zoomed in on that area. Sales meetings. While you're still in that settings, choose Google Calendar or Office 365 Calendar. I think those are the only 2 options. Make sure you turn on Calendar Sync, accept. If you're already logged in, it will kind of forcefully automatically sign you in. If not, you just log in, usual stuff. And it's kind of done. Then you can customize what days and hours your chatbot, your company, your agents are around. But you can make chatbots that appear at different times. Even when no one's around, you can have a different chat, live chat or chatbot or data capture round the clock basically. Set your buffer times and your notice times. You can't really customize this stuff on the free tab, but you need to make sure you do this auto submit checkbox. It just prevents the user from having to retype the information because the chatbot would have already figured out their first name and all that stuff. Then you can test a meeting. And you'll see the result in your calendar, and then you'll know if it's injecting entries into your calendar, it means it's working. I'm also setting up this Tom Cruise character with a likely to be fake email address, and that way it's another way of me knowing if this works, because I'll get a bounce back from my calendar saying it could not send an email to that email address because that email address doesn't exist. But the calendar entry will still be there. Then you can just check and configure a few more things. But yeah, see, Tom Cruise is in my calendar. Yeah, so just configure a few more things. I think you only get 1 meeting type for free, but that's what you really need. You can also check on the calendar integrations. If it's got a green light and it says connected, it means you're through. It worked. And then you can still customize a few more things. So this location will actually show up what I'm typing now in their calendar entry. So you can make things a bit meaningful if you want. I was trying to add something here, but it didn't have that option. We'll see more about it in the second example when we make the chatbot. Another important thing to make sure you've ticked is the reminder, and then you can even preview the reminder. So I'm sure when people filling in these live chat things, if they do book a meeting, they might actually forget. So this will send the reminder email. Now let's connect HubSpot Chat to your website. In the bottom left of the settings panel, there's something called tracking code. You can do this via plugin if you've got a popular CMS, or by code snippet. So I'm going to modify the domain we want this chat account to be used on, because I've got a subdomain which I've made for the demo site, livechat.conane.com. You probably won't have to do this unless you've got a subdomain. I'll add the same thing in advanced tracking as well. So if you're using a popular CMS like WordPress, Drupal, Shopify, Magento, Wix, etc., you won't have to use a tracking code. You can just use a plugin. As with most tracking codes, you'd want to place it just before the closing body tag in a file which serves all pages on your website, because HubSpot will only use the first tracking code they see, and they will ignore and disregard all the others. But I'm just going to do it by plugin. So WordPress, go to the plugins section, add new, search for HubSpot, and then install and activate the one that has the word live chat and with the author as HubSpot. As you're already logged into HubSpot, it will figure that out and it will connect you to that account. If not, you just put your username and password in on the plugin settings screen. And that's it, done. Alright, let's make the live chat now. Go to dashboard, conversations, chat flows, then create chat flow, then press website, and then add live chat. It's kind of self-explanatory when you're in it. Then customize the color and feel of it. I'll grab the exact color code from the demo site and use that. Once you paste that in, or choose whatever color you want, you can then do things like set your chat availability hours, do some other, customize the message. So you can set some times, or you can just make this the always on bot. And then it gives you some preview options. And if you go to your CRM HubSpot inbox, there's a test message that they've just sent. If you go to your real inbox, it will be there too. And if you had installed, just logged in username and password on the mobile app from HubSpot, you would have got a push notification too. So let's customize this a bit, go back to that same conversations, chat flows, give it a bit of an understandable name. You can just click the top. And then you can modify that prompt message. You can set when the ask for email should be activated. I just did it immediately after. You can even put it to never. As soon as somebody types anything in this type of live chat messenger, you will get a push notification and an email. On the bot, you only get the push notification at the end. So a few more things to customize here, such as when does this chat trigger? Is it based on time? Is it based on scroll? There was also this link called inbox settings. Once you click that, it's quite important because it takes you to this chat transcript section. So if you have to activate it and from the drop down choose an email address, and now we turn it on. And if you go to the website, you might need to go into incognito if you want to get rid of cookies. And yeah, it's there. This is it on the live website. So I'm replying to myself, visitor to agent, doing that via the HubSpot inbox. So you can see it's instant. So yeah, you already technically can use this and just stick it on your website and you're good to go. So if you go to your regular settings, you can then add an image, and this one will connect to the live chat messengers. For the live chat bots, the one with all those buttons, you can set the image in the bot itself. So what we're going to figure out next is how to make the chat messengers and bots only appear on certain sections of your website. So I've got these product sections, demo product sections I've made. I don't want this live chat and regular messenger appearing here. I want the fancy bot appearing on the product section. All of my products have /products/ as part of the URL. So it's website /product/ then child page, basically. So all you do is you click the exclusion and then you tell it what to exclude, basically. And I'm going to put contains. So this is in your targeting section. So I've just basically told it to exclude anything that contains /products/. So it will still appear on the non-products pages. Let's go incognito, fresh cookies. Okay, products. Nada, it's not appearing. Neither is in products 1 or products 2 because they're children of the products category. It's appearing on the blog because they are not linked to the products. Now, to give it the real test, let's just make a new products page that didn't already exist. So obviously call it products 3. I won't parent it to products right now. That means technically that live chat messenger should appear on this page because this page's URL structure will just be website /page. It won't be website /products category /page. Most websites are set up in this structure. If your website's a mess or whatever, it's not set up in this structure, you can still use all of these exclusion rules and inclusion rules and figure ways around it. So you see, it's not appearing on products, it's not appearing on product 2, but it is appearing on product 3 because of the URL. It doesn't have /products/. So CMS, simple fix, just link it to a parent page, and we're excluding the products page, and this is a child of that, so we know it's going to work, but we'll just test it anyway. Done. So that's how you customize where you put the chat messengers and chat bots. And now we're going to see how to make the more advanced chat bot. So you want to go to chat flows, then you press create chat flow, and then you press website, and then you're going to see a whole range of options. Anything without a padlock is free. If you click them, it shows you an example of what it does. We're effectively making a qualified leads bot, but just so we can learn it properly and do it the hard way, we're going to do start from scratch, and then we are going to make all those options, which is the same as a qualified leads bot. You could use a qualified leads bot and reverse engineer it after watching this video. So once you're in this chatbot, press the lowest plus icon and select send to a team member. Then you can enter the final chatbot's message. This will make sense soon. What we're doing is we are making the last element of this workflow, and that will activate the mobile push notification for the agents. So we're going to write thanks, contact first name, there's a contact token, and then we're going to mention the word persona. Persona is the buttons that the user presses at the beginning. We save it as a persona variable. And this will all make sense soon. Then we're going to modify the welcome prompt after we've done this. And you can just internally rename this one. So then we go to the welcome prompt, which is the first box. Just modify the text, like what brings you here today, just because we're going to hit them with some option buttons after. And then we can make a new box. The one that's there is a bit rubbish. So custom question, and then name it something memorable. This is internal use only, purpose on websites. Select one of the options, could be the message. We don't have any information about them, so we don't need to do contact token yet. We don't know the name or the email yet. Make some options, just browsing CV, portfolio, quote, other is what I put. Disable the free responses if you want, and then save it to a property called persona. This is just like a variable, so we can save data to this variable. We can reuse it later. My options, quick replies, they didn't save, so I have to write those again. And we can test it out. We can delete this block. We can make our own ones. It wasn't useful anyway. And the good thing is, it just lets you keep testing as you go along. You can edit, test. When it gets to that last center agent, that just means it's handed it off to a human. So technically, we won't really know what's going on unless you're really monitoring that dashboard until it gets to that stage. And you can see in your real inbox, your actual email inbox, it's sent us an email. When you get that type of email, it means you're going to get a mobile push notification as well. And you can reply directly off the mobile. So let's get the user to elaborate on that persona, that option that they selected. So internally rename it, more info. And then you can add your own message, try and make it sound human. And then you can reference that persona. Cool, how can I help you with your persona? Persona was the variable we're using for the buttons that they pressed. And save this in the property called message. You might need it later. You can always refer to that bit then that way. Test it out, quote, and then it's going to say, how can I help you with your quote inquiry? So now it's remembering the data you've stored. Asking them for one more message, and then end. So we can make it a bit more powerful by trying to get an email at this stage, because we've already got them to click a button and write something about it. So as you saw, went to custom questions, ask question, and there's an email template already there. Just modify the message, and you can see just below the property it's saving things to is email. So that's how HubSpot's going to know to refer to it as an email. And because it's an email template, it's already made an error message. You don't normally get error message in these things, but you do in this case. So let's see who we're going to be price for an app. Email, it knows that wasn't a real email. With GGAD, that try and make a fake email address. And then it says the last message. So I'm going all guns blazing. Probably want to get rid of some of these themes that I'm adding in here. But yeah, I might as well ask for the name after. Kind of a weird situation. To get that calendar bot message to appear, HubSpot needs the first and last name. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. Maybe on the paid version you can customize things, but who knows. So I'm asking for the name after the email. We'll go for the same, we'll be the same person. So yeah, they write this message. Put GGAD email address. Put the first and the last name. And you can see a little bit of visual bug on the last point, last element. But if we go into the inbox, we've got 2 chat messages from Gigi Hadid. So the next thing we want to do is create a support ticket element. So once we clear this visual bug, click the plus icon on the chat respondent, and then you would go to submit a ticket. Halfway down, give it some internal name, support ticket creation, so you can see what it means later. And then now we've got their name, we've got their email address, we've got their persona, what they actually inquired about. So we can start to customize the name of the ticket, the description of the ticket to match. So we can just say support ticket from live chat, first name, email, persona. So you've got these contact token things that just make it easier to find things. You also want to make sure you're selecting the right thing. So like there's loads of different email things. We're after contact email. You've probably seen, I've scrolled through about 5 different types of email, but that's the one we need. Contact email is what it should look like. And then we could put the persona. Obviously it's not really a persona, I just used that one because it was available. And this is, if you look at just above where I'm typing, it says prompt the visitor for a ticket description. You've got to select this, otherwise they can't write anything, and then you're just overloading them with more message boxes. So now it gets a bit weird. We've got to ask for a last name. So we do the ask question, use a name template, change the property to last name. The property is at the bottom. That's what it's going to save it as. The reason is HubSpot needs first and last name for us to get the calendar buttons and the time drop down up. Otherwise it just gives a link. There is also a button at the bottom, or a tick box that says skip if this action exists. So if the person put their first and last name originally, it will just skip this. So we're getting close to completion now. We're going to make a meeting scheduler. First we need to make just a regular simple send message, and we'll internally name it meeting request or something like that. And then we will just write something like, shall we schedule a quick call about your persona inquiry, basically what they inquired about. I'm just going to manually type the persona in the HubSpot, not code but token style, and then you can test it. This is because the meeting scheduler doesn't really leave a message before it just throws in all these days, so this will just make it a bit more human readable. Then we press the plus icon, look for something called book a meeting. There you go, it's in the sales section. Again, give it an internal reference name, meeting request, something like that. And choose a meeting link drop down. You only get one with the HubSpot free. That's all you need, I guess. And that's done. And the last addition is a newsletter subscriber. So you go to offer email subscription. It's like the fourth one down, something like that. Internal name as usual. Customize, add a message. Select which subscription. There's like two options that show up for me. You can just keep creating your own subscription lists. Obviously GDPR, people should only get emails from whatever list they've agreed or supposed to have agreed to. Customize the yes and no, or subscribed and not subscribed messages. And yeah, we're done. So yeah, the last element was already made, which hands off to a human. Let's check it out. Which character shall we be when it asks us for the name? Price for music app. Okay, Bella Hadid. So yeah, as you guessed, but we've only put the first name, so that means it's going to now ask us for the last name. On the previous examples, I put the first and last name just to save us having to see one more message. And we need to get rid of this robot icon. So after last name, it asks for the day, the time. You can see it jumps between times, meaning that my calendar's got something in it. So let me go to my HubSpot inbox. Again, whatever's here is accessible from their mobile app. And then look, I've got a ticket ID as well, because I've automatically created a ticket for this, or for every chat that comes through the bot. And it shows up there, yeah, wicked. Now we only want this live chat bot, the slightly more sophisticated one, to show up on the products pages. So instead of doing exclusion, this time I'm going to do contains. Anything that contains /products/, because that's the URL structure of the section which I want it to display under. You can keep adding more rules. It doesn't have to follow such a strict, organized structure, but most websites do. So regular section just has the messengers. But product sections, what have they got? Yep, they've got the correct one because it's got that weird robot hubbot thing. So we need to go to display, add an image. And then obviously change the name. Set your scrolling or your timer delays or both. Customize the way it pops open. You can see I've been getting some messages from people using this chatbot. The usual stuff, chat transcripts, availability. And yeah, how often basically you should reset that cookie. when you raise the cookie, just set a reset for the chat. Go incognito if the result's not showing up. Private tab if you don't use Chrome. And that was a 5-second delay, and we've got the buttons. Yep. Let's test it out. Alright, who should we be this time round? Kanye West. Yeah, it's going to ask for the name. And then it's created the support ticket. Is there anything else that Kanye wants to add? Should I stand for the President of USA? You asked for having a quick call about that. Give them dates, give some times. Does Kanye want to sign up for the newsletter? Signed up, and it's handed over to a human now. And we can start messaging back live. Again, on the more premium version of HubSpot Chat, you can set if-then rules, so you can skip a lot of this stuff depending on what they've clicked. I got a bounce back that I couldn't send an email to this address because it's not a real address, but at least that's a good sign because you know it's trying then to send these confirmations out. So yeah, these have all been injected into the calendar, which means it's working. Rename it. It's the products bot basically, because it only shows up in the product sections. And yeah, that's about it. So you can see the example on the non-demo site, on my actual site. And as you saw at the beginning, I've made some track by URL. So depending on what links I'm giving out, it can respond with a different bot, which is great for if you're running PPC ad campaigns. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share the video.